There you go, guys. I've got to tell you, there's nothing I love more than gear videos, equipment review videos. Love them. Anyway, let's get to this one. I've been putting this off for quite some time. Okay, what I've done is I've mounted my equipment rig onto a cushion as a makeshift dummy torso. You can see there is 2 layers, a short sleeve t-shirt and a long sleeve t-shirt. You can see the hydration hose comes over my left shoulder. Utility pouch across the chest for immediate access items, like a fanny pack across the front belt. I'll move round to these 2 extremely large utility pouches on the sides. 2 water canteens with canteen cups, aluminium canteen cups. There's the second one. The second extremely large utility pouch. I mean, this is 10 inches tall. Let's move around to the back. Moving around to the back, we've got the hydration bladder. That's just a poncho rolled up, stashed in the handle there. Got a double magazine pouch. Absolutely perfect size for the Catadine Hiker water filter, which is in one of those pouches. We've got the same fanny pouch as we have around the front, just in black, around the back. These 2 accessory pouches are for my cordage. You can see there is a tarp on the bottom there. That is a 3 metre by 4 metre tarp, heavy duty. I've got 2 of these pouches, one of which contains my main torch. See that in use before long. And the same on the other side, except this one contains an inflatable pillow. See, I've got stashed in there super glue. Right, let's start with water capability. At the back there you can see the hydration bladder. It's supposed to be 3 litres, but to be honest it only comfortably takes 2.5 litres or so. Got 2 standard 1 litre plastic water canteens with aluminium cups. I've also got that little wire adapter that I've made so that I can hang either of these pots. I've got my Catadine Hiker water filter with appropriate tubing in the nylon bag that's underneath it. Some Catadine Micro Pure tablets. These are the variety that take longer to work but taste better. Underneath there you can probably see plastic bags. These are the kind of bags that you would get if you buy some tropical fish or goldfish or something from a pet shop. So these are watertight fish bags, and I've actually drawn on lines of 4 litres, 2 litres, 1 litres and 1 pint. Quite handy really. I can fill it up to the 4 litre mark and put 4 tablets in. Likewise, fill it up to 2 litre mark, put 2 of the tablets in, and yeah, it's a good way of storing water. Extremely strong watertight bags these. Obviously if they're designed for carrying animals. So I've got 7 there. 12, 13, 14. I carry at least 14 of those, and there's a capacity of about 5 litres comfortably in each one. So what, 60, 70 litres of water storage right there. I've got one of those fold away flexible rubber water bowls. That pretty much completes the water section. The tarp, you can see there's a 3 metre by 4 metre tarp with some paracord. I've actually got a bit more than I've got out here. 550 paracord and normal string, supermarket string. Extremely cheap hammock, actually only cost £1. What I've got in here, in this supermarket pencil case, is an extremely cheap airbed, or a lilo as they're sometimes referred. That was £4 I think, the lilo. I think the pencil case was £1. I've got an inflatable pillow. Moving on to my lighting capability, I've got two 270 lumen torches that each take a single AA battery. I've got a 1000 lumen torch with several modes, my main flashlight really, or torch, and that takes one of these 18650 variety of battery. I've also got the head torch there. It's supposed to be 270 lumens, but I don't think it is, to be honest. Certainly not as bright as either of these. So these were only £5 each off eBay. Aluminium housed Cree lumen torch for £5. This was £20, but it came with a charger and 2 rechargeable batteries as well. I won't bother flashing it into the lens like everybody does. I have a watch variety of mobile phone with 4 batteries. There's 1 in and there's 3 spare ones there. So enough of that. Certainly got enough battery power to last me. A small TV, which is also a mobile phone as well. Should my primary mobile phone fail, I can put the SIM card into the TV and use that as a phone as well. I have got thin insulated variety of gloves, so the fleecy warm variety. Polyurethane palm coated work gloves, and a spare pair of the same. So 3 sets of gloves there. DPM bandana. DPM is just camouflage, if you don't know, it's just disruptive pattern material. I've got 2 of these ponchos, lightweight cheap £1.50 ponchos. One there, and the other one is what everything else is actually laid on at the moment. Pretty simple really. Spare t-shirt, a couple of pairs of spare socks. Yes, I forgot to mention in the flashlight department, I've got this overhanging tent light as well. Takes 3 AAAs. Just cheap £2.50 job from the supermarket. Moving on to the kitchen, I pretty much take with me some soups. As you can see at the back there, chicken soups, some hot chocolates. I've got some powdered milk. I've got exactly enough to make up 1 pint of milk in a plastic bag that also has a line marked on it for exactly 1 pint of water. So I'll just fill the bag up with water up to the line, close the bag off and shake it until I get some rather disgusting made up milk from powdered milk. I do not like powdered milk when it's been made up into milk, it's horrible. Some easy do it quick bread mix, just add water variety, bit of bushcraft bread sometime maybe. In this tub here I've got a mix up of my coffee and sugar and powdered milk mixed up in the correct proportions. I've got my spork, a sponge and a couple of scourers, a toothbrush there. I've got a small cosmetic jar full of fairy liquid, washing up liquid, and a small, an extremely small bag that I've put some toothpaste in and then reinforced it with a bit of duct tape. So just some toothpaste in there really. I can cut the corner off, squeeze a bit out. Right, I've got a small basic first aid kit here. just some simple plasters, a bandage. I think I've got some burn relief gel, some super glue, and a little saline pod in there. I've got a small plastic container with cotton wool balls. No Vaseline on them though. I'll tell you why in a minute. A small container with absolutely jam-packed full of extremely dry birch bark peelings. 2 different types of sharpening stone. I've got a coarse one and a fine. This is actually one of those really crappy kits that you get out of the handle of one of these knives. So this is the kit that actually came inside that handle, with, I would imagine, extremely high quality fishing equipment and such forth in. Yeah, right. Bit of duct tape wrapped around itself, just a bit of spare duct tape, an extra spare super glue, fire lighting capability, oh yeah, a wire saw, don't ask, not really of any use to be honest. Fire lighting capability consists of, I've got some windproof matches, I've got one of those hard strike wicks, so on the end of this is a wick soaked in flammable material and a steel striker as well, and on the side of the container is a ferrocerium rod. Speaking of which, 2 ferrocerium and magnesium combined rods. So I know a lot of people call these a ferrocerium rod. It's not, it's a ferrocerium rod. It was originally made up of iron and cerium, invented by an Austrian dude in the late 1800s, although only 60% of them nowadays are actually made up of just iron and cerium. The other 40% is various things that have been added throughout time, like a little bit of magnesium here, a little bit of zinc there. So modern ferrocerium rods will actually strike from stainless steel blade knives, contrary to some people's belief. The myth that the fire steel won't strike off a stainless steel knife is exactly that, a myth. Anyway, extra spare packet of windproof matches right there, and a spare ferrocerium there. Ferro rod, whatever you want to call it. But just a few different ways. I sometimes carry a cigarette lighter with me as well, but to be honest, that only ever gets used for heating the end of cut paracord to stop it fraying. I generally like to use a fire steel or such different methods when I'm out in the bush. Anyway, that's the fire lighting capability. Move on to the knives. Utility knives. We've got a very small multi-tool there. Very small, cheap supermarket. It's actually a Draper brand, but I bought it from Asda. £2.50. So yeah, not the best quality blade in the world, but it's got a few uses, especially if you want to have a bottle of wine or file your nails in a survival situation. Yes. Anyway, I've got one anyway. The Burka Magnum Hawk liner lock knife that you've probably already seen. The Burka Magnum Macro Stubby. Burka Magnum Giant Bowie. And the Ito Jungle King. Don't particularly like this knife, but and it's been replaced by the Giant Bowie, so I don't take it out very often. In here is just some sandpaper folded up and wrapped with a single sheet of normal paper, just to stop it from causing abrasion when I'm putting it in and out of my pack. A very cheap folding saw. Didn't come with a sheath, so I actually made a sheath out of duct tape and finished it off with some camo pattern curtain material. So just a very simple sheath knocked up for that. In fact, and it just fits in like that. Now, in the cargo pockets of my trousers, I always keep the same thing, and that is a huge chunk of kitchen roll, basically. My advice, don't bother taking loo roll, toilet tissue, whatever you want to call it. Don't bother taking toilet roll out in the bush. Take kitchen roll. There's several reasons why. Toilet roll doesn't burn properly, so it's no good as a tinder. It falls apart when it's wet, so it's no good as you can use it as a temporary filter, I suppose, to filtering water. You can actually use kitchen towel carefully enough and let it dry out and use it again. So it's far more useful than loo roll. So I always take a good big hank of kitchen roll with me in each of the 2 cargo pockets. I think that's invaluable for keeping clean, emergency fire lighting, emergency filter making, absolutely anything. Far more uses than toilet paper, far more. This small cosmetics jar that I've got washing up liquid in, I've actually got a few of these jars, and I'm in the process of deciding what to bring out with me in the jars. I've got another one that's full of Vaseline, for obvious reasons, but I've actually misplaced it at the moment, so I can't show you it. So yeah, I've got this, and I've also got one full of Vaseline as a backup. And I've got a couple more empty ones that I'm not quite sure what I should put in them. Please feel free to put in the comments box anything that you could advise me to pack out in these containers. Some liquids or gels of some description, perhaps, or some pastes. I'm not sure. Maybe some foodstuffs or anyway. I'm still trying to decide what to use these for. So I've only really decided on one of them, being this one, because washing up liquid's quite handy. So that's definitely going to come. It kind of goes with the washing up ball. And some of the other stuff I've forgotten to mention, of course, cheap baseball cap, 1 by 1 metre square section of camouflage curtain material, just cotton polyester material, I suppose. Very handy for making various things. Insect repellent, basically. One of those cheap whistles with a backup compass, thermometer on. A decent compass, of course. One of those Lensatic marching variety compasses. Got a second plastic tub with cotton balls. Once again, the cotton balls don't have Vaseline with them. The reason for this is because I think it's slightly cheating in the sense that using a normal cotton ball is relatively similar to using cotton lichen, which obviously can be found naturally. And it kind of acts and performs in a very similar manner, whereas you're not really going to come across something similar to a cotton ball with Vaseline in the wild, whereas, like I say, just using it without Vaseline kind of simulates the cotton lichen to a certain extent, which is why I don't use the Vaseline. So that actually needs topping up. Anyway, a couple of other items there. Big chunky fleece, and cheapo sleeping bag. Interested to see how that performs once the evenings get a bit cooler, which they are already starting to.